So what is up, Click? This is another video. This series, I aim to actually give new players some ideas on how to start. Heroclix isn't a cheap hobby by any means, if you want to play at the top levels, but actually there's some very budget options that are available to anyone, and they can make teams that are actually pretty good, that can actually steal a couple of games. And maybe if you really master, your team better than your opponents, you can actually win a tournament, hopefully. So this team that I made, so I'm gonna be showing two teams today to show some budget builds for new players that actually are pretty accessible and can actually pack a pretty mean punch. So first off, our main this team is built around the Batman team up play at home kit Shaggy, who in my opinion is actually pretty underplayed and is actually really strong in the current meta. So why is that? So first off, let's read him. So he comes in at 150, 150 points. We are playing him at the top click, the 150 point line. So the thing about him is that first, he's cheap. A play at home kit is around anywhere from $20 to like 25 or even cheaper at your local game store. It has a map, and it's a really good value buy for anyone who's starting the game. Actually, all of the play at home kits are pretty good value. So he's at 150 points. He's actually cosmic, so that means he is protected outwit. So that really helps in terms of keeping him, topped up and pretty strong throughout the match. He's a hypersonic. He's pretty straightforward actually. He's a hypersonic with super strength, 12 attack, 19 defense with invincible, and a 4 damage with close combat expert. So that effectively gives him a 13 for 5 with 3 targets. This is actually a pretty good value to have is if you have a tentpole or a figure that takes up half of your team. So having that triple target means you can multi-target and not worry too much about any rollouts that they have, any super senses or shape change, because you are really just hitting someone for sure. And with the super strength, you're knocking them back and doing extra damage. And the thing that's really good about Shaggy is that he has this once he goes down to around mid dial, he gets a special power in his attack value, gives him steal energy, and then if he KOs 2 or more characters with a single attack, he heals 3 clicks. So aside from your steal energy, so you're healing 1, and then you're KOing someone, you're healing effectively 4 clicks. You're healing back up to full if you're on click 5. So that's pretty good for the bang for your buck. This is a strong one. So what do we do to support him? What do we give him? So, well, other budget options. I want this team to be as cheap as possible, as accessible as possible. So first off, we have the new Black Heart. So the new Black Heart is really one of the best, budget pulp figures right now, because he can actually poof someone because of his Prince of the Underworld trait. So free, choose up to 2 adjacent friendly characters with a monster or mystical keyword. This is a mystical theme, so all of our figures have mystical. So Shaggy has mystical, you can see there. So Blackheart, he can place Blackheart in a square of hindering terrain within range, so within 5 range, and then you place the chosen characters, the adjacent characters, adjacent to Blackheart. So that effectively gives you a TK of 6. So you place Blackheart 5, and then you place Shaggy in front of him. That's 6. So 6 plus a hypersonic speed of 9. That gives him 15 range. So a 15 range hypersonic. So that's basically the whole map in a small map. He also has Empower. And overall, he's a pretty good figure. So what else do we need? So, there are not a lot of budget options for mystical that, off the top of my head and that are easily accessible. But first off, we have the Avengers Forever Doctor Strange. So the thing I like about this is that he is 40 points. He gives you leadership. He creates he creates figures, generates figures that have enhancement that can, are pretty convenient at the right time. He has a TK, and TK is free. He has a rollout and ESD. So for 40 points, that's quite the value. So he's our leadership piece. He also gives a perplex, so we can perplex up Shaggy's defense if you want to send him out there all alone. And then that leaves us with 60 points. So I'm choosing the Ghost Rider rare. The thing I like about this is, first of all, he is 60 points. Danny Ketch is 60 points. And pretty easy to get. So all of our rares, Blackheart and Ghost Rider, can probably go from anywhere for like $5 to $8 depending on where you are. So this Ghost Rider is pretty strong, pretty cool, because his ability to give your allied characters, your friendly characters, the defender's team TA, which actually replaces the value of their defense when they're getting attacked. So if you manage to pull off this trick of having defenders on your team, it actually gives them 19 defense. That's pretty good. 19 defense on your whole team, that's pretty nice. Although it's very situational. Of course, we're not, expecting too much because of our budget constraints. But he is a pretty good value piece. He also has, he can hit pretty strong. He has a charge of 5 and 11 attack, and exploit weakness, which is actually pretty important. He has giant reach too, so that effectively gives him a 7 reach charge. So pair that with the 6 square placement with Blackheart, so that's 6 plus 7, that's 13 range. It's pretty good. So that does it. So the whole team, let's say your play at home kit is 20, then each of the rares are like 5, let's say 5, 30. Doctor Strange is like $2. So you're looking at $30, 32, 35 at most. So this is a pretty cheap team, which actually works with each other. So that's really nice. So as far as upgrades, so again, going with the theme of us playing with Shaggy. So one of the first things that I would recommend to any player to buy first is the super rare Ghost Rider from Wheels of Vengeance again. So this is a strong figure. This is one of the best figures from the set. He has a great power set for the points. He has leadership, he has invincible, he has hypersonic. He prevents your guys from losing their abilities. Although Shaggy has cosmic, still your other guys need to have their powers. So that's a pretty strong figure. So 70, that's a strict upgrade from the Ghost Rider, the 60-point Ghost Rider that we have. This is a much better stats, much better abilities, more things to do. He has better movement. So that's pretty strong. So that's your first upgrade, your Ghost Rider. And then you buy a motorcycle. So Shaggy, from 150 points, we move him down to 100 points. And then we give him the motorcycle. So the motorcycle, we put it on click 3. So that gives him combat reflexes. So his 18 defense at 100 points, that's effectively a 20 because you want to throw him into your team, into your opponent's team. Fight him face to face. He also has a free move of 1 square. And then he has improved movement characters. So that helps him move around a bit. So with a free move of 1, and then Shaggy has a hypersonic of 8, so that's effectively a 9 square hypersonic. So again, you still get that 15 square hypersonic because we still retain our Blackheart. So to keep our budget, lower, we try to keep our old figures. We still try to play with them. So and for good reason, because Blackheart and the Doctor Strange from Avengers Forever are pretty good figures that are actually, you can use them in modern, you can use them in pulp. Pretty good value buys. So we are retaining, again, as I said, retaining Blackheart and Doctor Strange. Again, for their points, they're pretty good. They give you a perplex. and your Ghost Rider. So that's your strict upgrade. And I put in here, I mean, he's really part of any team going forward. The white shirt Scott Porter. He is still available at the WizKids store for I think $20 plus shipping. He does so much for his points, so it's something that I recommend if you want to upgrade any team that you have. This is one of the first buys you get. This is one of the first buys you must have, because he gives your entire team +1 attack. He's also another source of extra support abilities, because he does give your attack +1, so that's virtually a perplex. He gives you prob, and his amazing power bomb ability, the knockback with the pulse wave, but doesn't target friendly characters. So if you're sending out your Shaggy and your team, in retaliation, sends up his whole team into your starting area, you can just pulse wave and knock them back without worrying of hitting your other characters. So that's pretty strong. For 25 points, $20, this is a must-have figure. And then lastly, for to round out the team, a really good upgrade is to get the Chthon from Wheels of Vengeance. Why? Because we are a mystical team. There are so many synergies. So having a Chthon in to give your to use the sideline active trait to have their combat values modified by +1. So usually I would think we put it on Shaggy, but you can also put it on the Ghost Rider, on the super rare. But the reason why I put Shaggy at 100 points is that once he gets hit, so he is, virtually with the combat reflexes from the motorcycle and the +1 from Chthon, he's a 21 defense up close with 13 attack and 5 damage, triple target, a hypersonic of virtually 10. You get the 8, and then the motorcycle gives you +1, so that's 9, and then the free move, that's 10. With the Chthon, that's 11. That's pretty good. Also, once he gets hit, so what happens is once he gets hit, once he puts an action token on himself, he gets 1 damage, and then that puts him at a Steel Energy Clix, so you can heal back that damage pretty quickly from the Chthon. And I mean, who's hitting you? Your 21 defense. It's pretty strong. So all of these are upgrades that I think are really that make sense while still keeping your budget pretty low. So the Ghost Rider right now is probably around $30-$40. The Chthon is also the same, $30-$40. The motorcycle is like $5 or $10. So you're looking at probably like a $60 to $70 upgrade to make your team pretty strong, to bump it up. So add the Porter for $20, so that's less than $100. This team can actually win in your local tournament. I would say if you know how to play, you know how your opponents work, you know how to maneuver your team, this is something that can actually put up a fight. Although of course this team will have some difficulty if you're facing up against like a bunch of Carnage Silver Surfers, but that is besides the point. We are trying to keep this as budget as possible, as accessible as possible. So overall, I think Shaggy has a lot of potential in the current meta. He's a pretty strong attacker. He has a super strength, which is pretty good now. Hypersonic, good values, cheap, easy to get. So he's someone that I would recommend starting off when you're a new player, you want to build a competitive, semi-competitive team. So with that video, this video is done. Thank you so much for your time. Drop in the comments down below what you think of Shaggy, what you think you can build with him, what are other options that you found to be successful, and I would love to hear your thoughts. So with that, thank you so much. That's it.